Okay. Uh, can you see my screen now? Well, I just want to confirm.
Yes, we do.
All right. In the first place, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity. Na Roma kutaling ngutiti Kakwa America ling lisene laso. Nanyara lunga denaya. Nanyara lunga denaya Dennis. I'm so much excited with the opportunity. It's not my first time to engage in the Kakwa conference. I remember 2023, Nakajulu Kata. I was live in Nashville, and I also want to appreciate Joel Dumba for his leadership and all that he's doing to make sure that the Kakwa community remains united and making sure that this conference goes on, and also the team. Well done to you all. Naeja dukure napo ponda for the physical one, but inshallah, pete stimu nikine kade. But I'm happy also. My brother is there. Samse. He's a very good guy. Thanks for introducing me that way. I do a lot of things in music, but my career is in ICT. So when the conference was planned, I thought it's also important for me to share some of the things that I do, basically around technology, cybersecurity, and maybe entrepreneurship. Those are some of the things that I do back here. Here, Leonardo, I'm a teaching assistant at the university, so I find a lot of connection because we're in the same era, which is the digital era. And so thank you also, Daddy, for giving me the opportunity and to be part of this. So my presentation is going to be short. I'll be talking about few things. It's a netiquette, and then basically I'll focus on misinformation and how we can use the internet safely. The reason why I thought this is a very important topic is that all of us we engage on the internet. Kajulu says on Lamana, presenting Kajulu is the impact of technology on people and culture. And so we have shared a lot of experiences, understanding how technology is affecting our cultures. But also, this is somehow related, and it has to do with how we communicate on the internet and the things that we do on the internet. So, somebody will ask you, what is netiquette? And it's a term which is related to the internet. Of course, the internet is a global network of computers, mobile phones that are connected together. Uh, Given my situation now, Nalo Jubani, and I'm able to communicate to you, connect with you, feel the same thing you're doing, and that has been made possible because of the internet. And so the netiquette is having two words, which is the internet, and then etiquette, which is a code of ethical behaviors. Yani kudogbo internet, kudakija internet, dokodo yani sidakuberilaga dinyo. So it's about our character and the things that we do on the internet. Toti renadi, all of us we engage on the internet, almost everyone. I know in Africa, maybe back home, maybe the young people are connected to the internet, but I believe that where you are, even the children have smartphones. They have access to the internet. Kudeka kilo even ngaji kilo yakija phone like in a long way laga dumala kilo. This is the era where we are in right now. But of course, just like we are citizens in the world, uh, all of us we need to take care of ourselves. So the same things when we are when we're on the internet, we call ourselves netizens, netizens or digital citizens, because we engage on the internet, we find our money on the internet, our food we order through the internet. Basically life has been made very easy when we are on the internet. So in the physical, if you don't take care of yourself, anything can happen to you. And that's why we talk about insecurity. The same thing when we are on the internet. If we don't care of ourselves, then definitely something might happen to us, which might also hamper our reputation and also the way we conduct ourselves. So we need the internet. We need to use it the right way as we spend our time and our money online. The internet is not free. I'm very sure all of us will know that. And so most of us prefer to go hungry instead of having no internet in our houses. This is a situation that I have engaged with the young people. But in our discussion today about netiquette, just briefly, why it's important for us to really speak about our characters and our conduct on the internet. I just want you to look to your neighbor. Namde metengutu la kon yoganlo. Kulo kon luta te wala konu kadunge. Just look at the person, don't say anything. Yeah? Look at the person. Now I have a question for you. Ngutu laga kon yoganilo. If there is something bad about this person and you want to communicate to this person, this is something that you really want him to understand. Will you announce it in the whole of the hall so that everybody will know something is wrong with this person? Definitely no. How about if there's something good? You see something good with the person, what would you do? Is it possible still to make an announcement in the whole hall and say, yeah, something good is here about the person, yeah? I think I think it is possible. So the same way, it goes to communication. If we want to communicate, how do we communicate in a way that we also don't offend someone on the internet? So it's important to discuss this topic because we can prevent a wrong communication on the internet, because like we have WhatsApp, we have Facebook, we have Signal, we have Telegram, and a lot of platforms that we use to communicate. So if we know how to communicate about something, definitely we'll make sure that we communicate it in the right way. And also, one of the reasons why this topic is very relevant is that it encourages respectful dialogue. Basically, when we are on the internet, how do we make sure that we don't bully other people? We have heard of cyberbullying, things that happen to other people on the internet. I know you might have come across, maybe some of you, wakunda wurjana kudonga against you on the internet and you feel disrespected. So it's something which is happening in our community. Yani kudonga tulukatalaga, instead of kuko kutahenda dokuya, they feel like they should go and post it somewhere on social media and speak about it. So if we don't follow what we call the netiquette, the characters of how to conduct things on the internet, we'll definitely lose the track and the respect and the kind of dialogues that we could bring to our community, even to our lives. And then another thing is about privacy and security. When we understand digital etiquettes, it helps us to safeguard our personal information. There are things that today, when you go on the internet, people share almost everything they do. Yeah. uh, Taking children's photos they want to share on the internet. Luckily ngutu bala galoso yo yani cardinal hena bank na, but kina post like that Facebook. Yeah, nobody has ever done that. Why? Because you feel that is a very private information and you really want to safeguard it. And it's not only that, there is a lot of information about us that we feel we don't want even the public to know. And if we cannot speak it in public, that means we cannot share it, on social media or on the online platforms. Another reason is that it supports professionalism in the digital workspaces. All of us, we have access to the internet. We communicate on the internet, and so whether using Zoom, whether we use personal communication channels, whatever channels that we do. So if we are well prepared to know how to handle ourselves on the internet, then we will be able to do the right thing. Sana corona na nakajula ingale de story. Let them katalaga yani lefelu bo Zoom meeting. Yeah, lepaku then how the Zoom works. He was just excited because lefelu bangyo. So lepa bongo naga di camera na lefa na bonga. Lepa chula luti sakati apelele ngana taban kudengu tulukata yani sukindo ngolo koti lo nyolo suki yala lepe aku soju be sukindo ngona libas yala lepe lungina sambala yani aku dari koro kamera na hiki no lepe kalas bon lu ti a pelele ngana ye nguti kilo poki daka nya jonya laga so it reduces our professionalism as we engage on the internet. It's a very good thing to discuss this. And also there's what we call misinformation on the internet. Yeah, and they like sharing information which is not true on the internet. So we will come to that later on. And I just want to go to another thing which happens on the internet, which is called hate speech. According to Wikipedia, hate speech is any offensive discourse targeting a group or an individual based on certain characters. It could be their religion, their gender, something that could threaten their peace. Yeah, you can maybe define it in another way, but hate speech law has to do with yani kilimat laga do lutundo konu telni laga kilo kilimat do ya huko do lutundo huko maybe ikinga gele dangele la kudo tahinda ngutulo kule pet doro kaizat duka moit. Yeah. So these things happen on the internet. Any message, anything that we do, and there are different forms of misinformation, of hate speech that happen on the internet. So kudo meda like yimus yikilo agbio hukare. Yeah. Kude kasila bihi kare takilo lungut hukare jinga yani kare naga titadu kare naga yani it's a mockery. So these things happen every now and then. Maybe you go on social media, you go on other platforms, you find things that do not make you happy. This week, I learned a new word called the trolling. And trolling is where somebody speaks anything just to discourage you so that you feel like you are useless. When they hear things about themselves, they decide to commit suicide. Yeah, but a lot of hate speech is happening even in our communities. Any kind of communication in speech in written contributes to be a hate speech. And now, because when people on the internet, kuna pijado, yani kudo pure kutumalna, and they check your phone, what are you looking for? You're looking for information. Moso? Yani pero na sana ga kunal sa durundo na tabanali sa durjo, but I think I'm now older. But I remember those days. Pero monye lika ka pure warana kana lepelo ngaju radio. Ka ngaju radio na lepelo mido inga news. Mido inga BBC kwa atinyo ti Sudan, Nairobi, what is happening. But today the radio is not there anymore. I don't know how the last time you tuned to a radio, maybe from your car. But I believe that all of us now, we get our information on the internet. So when people go on the internet, they're always looking for information. They want to know what is happening. But now, internet la awara yana pirinaga is a dumping site. Yeah? There is hate speech, there is fake news. Fake news is news which is not true. Definitely that is called fake news. Yeah. Kubekani kajulu nide yani sana corona na yikulu bototo. Yikulu bototo yani iwaranaka yani jiran nyona ngutina na kasile pena nyona totogi kaka nyona na bong 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 ala jajango nari nyola galoro le fade adi ngira yunge kartum yu ngira no yunge no kukala dute lungira yunge kukala yala lungiro sulji kwea yala lungiro kwea na le fena adi yani iyangu tuti pureni pure isa arba ti mote shay laga baka na sukar moto ga kaku moto lo bimana lo tua corona la poke aloro kwa yakina naro. It was a message. anadi ngiro yungea ngolo junubi ta wala din adi walai al muhim weledi shailo nyelo nya konda bes moji, and this information went everywhere. This is one of the things that happened. Yani, I was not moved because I know anything can happen. Kila ho adikilo. And when we found out the reality, actually there was nothing like that. Letang padi letang rayunge yana kukala dute soloja koya doing garagade, and a lot of things are happening. Most especially in South Sudan, a lot of things. And maybe you can get even some information that you hear about South Sudan. So everybody is hungry for information. And who shares this information? It is me, it is my colleague, it is my friend, are the people I follow online, are the people that I engage with. So there's a question there, but it's not really the point of our discussion. So because we live in the digital era, most of us engage on social media platforms, which are, the source of our information. Kasuni naku den kutam the denda about South Sudan. Naku deda to website laga, which social media pages do you check? Even kan kudum the denda and kwana tito irinaga de are happening. Yani yukulu okor by iRadio ama other pages. Why? Because we believe that at least they have some percentage of correct information. Ika julinga ina de lawyer balikala in lo gedi ba nyonyo kana badi ke, and everybody was hungry for information. Ilo la garum binala pa ayingunda Samuel will add. Look, ayingunda nanyena will add. All these things, they form communication on the internet, which can either be true or false. So what kind of information do we share? What kind of information do we consume on the internet? Yeah, it could be good news, it could be fake news. So hate speech happens in different formats. As I said, it can be images. Ama uletong tula yumakudo bodoro ume yani today we have artificial intelligence. Don binagadi photo no na kutu menagada ya koya pelele. Yeah, these things are there. Banyana possibility mete ngadinyelo de. Maybe they draw you. So the reason is that they just want to send a false information about you. Now then I got kuna pija in the ilangalaga at wadi ataki kwa na gatipure. Maybe people talked things which are not true about you. Yeah, I believe everybody has gone through that. Yeah. But when people get to know you, they begin to see a different kind of personality about you. So hate speech happens in so many formats that we can experience on the internet. And I want to talk about these three main things. One is called the misinformation, another one is called the disinformation, and then there's malinformation. These are types of information disorder. Misinformation is false information. Yeah, and it's not true, and the person can say anything about you, but does not intend to cause harm to you. Yeah? What is the worst thing you have heard about yourself? Yeah? So misinformation is that kind of thing people talk, but really they don't really mean to cause you a harm. Maybe in a way that you commit suicide, or maybe it causes you mental disorder in a way. But it's information which is being spread. It could be about you, about the organization that you lead. It can be about the community. It can be about the association. It can be about the country, about your family. These things happen all the time. And the thing is that how do we respond when things happen on the internet? When people speak things about you, how do you respond? That is what really matters. And then we have what we call disinformation. Disinformation is where somebody manipulates information and the intention is to cause damage. This is the difference. Misinformation, the person doesn't care, But disinformation is more of a causing damage. The damage could go to your reputation, it could go to the organization, it can go to the community, to your family. Example, batadi ama dongolo kasumane. Nobody wants to associate kungutula kasumane. Mozo? Asa katadi le ngutu inala kasumane. Everybody, I ngutu wo wokola ga bayitebo. Yeah? Ama batadi ngadilolo alo abiba. Kilongo, they happen in our communities. The,
Yeah,
the,
it's
the
good.
reason they spread such kind of lies and information is because they want to harm you, your reputation. They want to cause damage to you. And then there's what we call malinformation. It's information which comes, there's a truth about it somehow, but it has been exaggerated. Yeah, I hope you get the differences of the three. So malinformation is that there is some truth, but then it has been exaggerated. Yani adi. So people feel compelled like to share a lot of this kind of information on the internet. And they find it easy. And this is the reason why we want to have this kind of conversation so that we can know how to engage on the internet. So, uh, when we do things on the internet, I have an acronym here called it Think. Think is in a way that you need to know that whatever information you get or you share is true. But the question is, how do you know information is true? Yeah? That means, then where is the source of this information? Kudo inga kwa hine maybe dumbanyelo kuya ama dedi nyelo kuya ama so and so nyelo kuya. Is it true that the characters of these people can engage in this kind of information? So kudo medele dongo apostila. Maybe if you follow me on social media, people know that Denea Dennis is supposed to keep another kind of a character. If something has been posted Bodoyinga about Denea Dennis, do you believe? Is it true? So there are questions that you'll always ask. Is this the right information about this thing? Is it true that so and so kokon kudengonaga de? So you need to be very critical. And then think about the information. If I want to speak anything to the family, to the community, to whosoever is close to me, will that information be harmful? Yani kilimat laga kona ya taiju kude koneske kine, will they cause harm to someone? Yeah? The same way in the physical, it is the same way when we engage online, whether it's on any platform. That's why kudo to TikTok, kudo to other platforms. Iyangu tulaga bok ngoma na lepena gana 1990 lisa mdo jonda. Yeah? Lumdo kulokundo kwa hini. Everybody feels like they want to speak their hearts. So that's why if you go to social media, sometimes doma mokako heart attack. Busakan, just because of the kind of information that you see on the internet. Another question to ask is that, is the information you share, is it inspiring someone? Nakita pejado nagade. Jiran lo la kon yogan lo. Kuda medane dengo naro. Maybe call a lo le pelo ni de ba lo. Or maybe bongana le fena yoda kedi ishayo. Ama welena yota hinda. You cannot announce in the whole hall. I hall you gire baraka ah. Metela lo de asa yoda borilaga kueleta kine naga call a luzat ge ba lo. You see? You cannot do that. If you cannot do it in the physical, that means on the internet, you cannot do it. So think about inspiring someone through the kind of messages that we share. And then another question is, what I'm sharing, is it necessary? Is it really important? Does it make sense? Is it kind? Am I being kind enough to make sure that whatever I share on the internet, doesn't harm someone? So these are some questions that one can think about as we engage online. Remember, we are talking about Netiquettes, how we engage on the internet, and how misinformation and disinformation happens in our communities. Just because we are also online, and these platforms we engage with them. Sometimes our children are the ones who are engaging on those platforms. And then, how do we make sure that we are careful? Yeah, I have put a point here where I says in security. There is a word security here, and in this word security, I remove the "you" so that I say security is not complete without the letter "u," and the "u" is pointing to you. So, how do we make sure that we engage safely on the internet so that we don't engage in hate speech, we don't engage in misinformation, we don't engage in anything. Sometimes people can fabricate your reputation because of maybe the kind of friends that you have, or maybe uh, through an imagination. So when we are on the internet, just like I know in the hall, and there's some guidelines put in the hall. I'm very sure in the start of the conference, nagadi kudogba ku phone nono ya jama phone na kugwede in silence. At least kudom to koke, don't disorganize someone. These rules are there in the physical. The same thing when we engage on the internet. There are some rules that we can follow, like opening websites that you're not so sure about. That's why I said, where do you go for information? Don't download things. You need to know the source. Do you trust whether this information is true? Yeah. When you're interacting with other people, be cautious. Be asking questions like, is this the right thing I'm doing? Also, limiting what we share on the internet. From the word trolling, there are people who wait for what you share and then they take. It's like a timing bomb. It's like, I, damene, sikinede. That's how he's or she is revealing himself. And then also secure communication. When our communications are not secured, we fall victims. Like in the WhatsApp group, the people who enter there, and we know that they are scammers. There are people who can uh, get, to hack our information. They can steal our money. They can steal our private information and then post it out. They don't care. Yeah. So we need to protect our identities. So these are a few tips that I just wanted to share with you. And one of the important things is that the word called fact checking means that any information you see on the internet, don't just rush and believe it. Kajulu sala igbo jubanilo yani yituko kiadi moro na dukini denaga yani people started running. Tarele dengo bai. Yeah, people were running without knowing what was going on. But always, when you see information, ask those questions. Is it true? You need to verify whether the source is the right one, whether somebody really said this kind of things. Koda ingadi dumba akoyako yanagagele muramusala. It's not bad. Ask dumba. Diri kine kwa na tito diri. Yeah. So this will build our community. Remember the things I talked about here is that we are building a community. There's a trust that we need to have. So when we understand why we have this kind of conversations, we will build a community. Misinformation, all this will never happen amongst our society. So as we engage on the internet, I just want to say the internet is there for everyone, and we just need to take care of ourselves. I know my time is up, but I feel this is enough. If anyone has maybe a question, and feel free, you can ask me. I can also share this in the WhatsApp group so that we can interact. This is my area in terms of digital security and making sure that when we engage on the internet, we engage as people who identify as responsible. We know what it means to engage on those digital platforms. So I just want to say thank you so much. I hope this has inspired someone, and maybe someone has learned something. But all in all, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, and thank you. Yeah, tell us Aduma. Back to you, Daddy Ramba or Samson.